Whether you're looking to save your marriage or simply have your wife fall back in love, this video is going to help you end her anger and her apathy so she wants to work on things. And I'm going to give you a method that you've never tried before that gets her to see you as the only man that she desires. It is the same method that I spent over a decade developing to help thousands of husbands save their marriage. Now, what we cover today, it might seem boring or overly simple and the opposite of what you think might work. But that's why it does. See, you've been taught that saving a failing relationship is about sitting her down to have a heart-to-heart conversation, right? To lay things out, or to logically try to understand why she's so upset and distant, and then figure out how to solve those things, and convincing her that it's best to save the marriage. Not just best for her, best for you, best for the marriage, best for society, best for the kids. But all of those methods not only complicate things for you, but they subconsciously are pushing her further away. And our first principle is going to jump straight into why this is. Before we go there, let me show you what today's video is about. A woman doesn't lead with logic. She leads with how she feels. And she'll trust her feelings about you long before she trusts anything you say. So the real question is never, what do I say to get her to change her mind? It's, what do I make her feel to change the way she thinks about me? You see, the answer is simply your behavior. And once you understand the correct mindset and then the behaviors to actually take day by day, you start to shift how she feels and you unlock her most important need of emotional safety that causes her to obsess over you again. And then at the end of the video, I'm gonna show you the secret test she's been giving you over all these years and how you've been misreading it and the way to pass that test to take that conflict and turn it into connection. So for the first principle, let's talk about why her feelings come first. Your wife doesn't have honor. Women don't have honor. I know that's controversial, but hear me out. I recently had a housewarming party here, and I invited a bunch of people, including a lot of girlfriends I've had over the years. Now, I had about 10 girlfriends say they would come. Guess how many showed up out of the 10? 2. They literally said, I am coming. I'm excited to come. Oh, I can't wait to meet your puppy. All these things, right? But did I get upset? No, I don't take it personally. And here's the reason why. I know when a woman says she's going to be somewhere or do something, through repetition, I understand that in her mind, this is how it plays out. When she hears about the party, in her mind she thinks, oh, I can do that. That sounds fun. Yeah, I want to check out his place. And then what happens over time is her friends may invite her, some other people are inviting her, speaking to all these women, right? And I actually called 2 of the friends that night. I was like, hey, just wanted to see where you're at. One of them said, hey, I'm at Gay Pride Parade. I just got caught up and I'm a little tipsy and I can't make it. I'm sorry. And the other one said, hey, I just can't make it. I had some family stuff come up. Whether that's true or not, it doesn't matter because here's the point. I know women follow their feelings. How does this apply to you? So let's take how this plays out with you and your wife from a micro example to the macro. Let's look at a micro example first. Let's say you want to take her on a date. You plan this extravagant thing. It's going to be fun. You say, hey, let's go do this thing because you don't ask her because you know from watching this channel, you say, let's go do this thing instead of asking. So you get all excited across the week. While she is having a hard week. Maybe things are going on internally with her, stressed out at work, stuff with the kids, she doesn't feel well, and then on the ride home, she just has a fight with her mom, and you know how that relationship is. She gets inside the house, you're excited to go, you're like, hey, let's go get ready, 2 hours and we'll go. She says, I don't feel like going anymore, I don't want to go. Now to you, you think, you're a liar. You said you would go. Why are you going back on your word? But to a woman, changing what she does based on how she feels is logical. Of course, if I don't feel like it, I'm not gonna go. You have to put yourself in her perspective. She is trusting her feelings and her intuition. If how she feels changes, she doesn't want to go. As men, when we make a word for something, we say, I'm gonna do this thing, I don't care how I feel about it, I'm gonna do it. A commitment to the gym, a commitment to work, or whatever it is. Now let's look at this at the macro. Okay, so what actually changes her feelings? How does she go from this to that? A lot of men think that it's the right words you say. If I can just say the right words to her to unlock how she feels, that will change it because you're using your logical brain, and I get it. But what influences her more than anything else is your behaviors. Okay, you'll hear women say this all the time. Words mean nothing, especially to a man who's been promising, and has been inconsistent. Okay, so you have to build your word back up to her by changing your behaviors first. So over the years, what has happened is she's complained about me not being home enough. So I'm gonna come home more. Or that we just don't get, we're roommates now. We're just too logical, 2 ships passing in the night. Let's go on a date. Let's rekindle that first date we had. These are good ideas. I know they're coming from a good place. But this, and of course, trying to show her what's best for the kids, You're looking up studies to say, hey, this is how kids perform when they're divorced versus not. Look at all the couples that are able to work through the marriage. If they just stick in it long enough, you can find any rationalization to try to logically convince her. But all of these come from the same place underneath it all. She intuits underneath that you're coming from scarcity. Let me show you. There are two key fundamental mindsets behind all behaviors that you have. A woman is sensing what is underneath the behavior, okay? The feeling that it comes from, okay? As an example, you're on the phone with her. This may have happened to you. And you guys she's upset you said something, okay? And when you leave, you want to hang up, you have to go. You say, I love you, hoping underneath it, she feels the desperation of like, say I love you back, please say you love me, please tell me everything is okay. Versus a guy says, I love you, and just gives that value. So same words, same sentence, different meaning. This is why so many men feel betrayed, is because on the day of their wedding, a woman promises until death do us part. Now, irregardless of your personal example of your marriage, let's take an extreme example to prove the point. Yes, a wife may fall in love with her husband and say, I want to commit to this man. Look at his eyes on the day of the wedding, say, this is the man I want to spend the rest of my life with. But let's just say that man stops protecting her. He starts being abusive. He starts yelling at her. He starts dismissing her. He doesn't take her on dates anymore. He makes her do all the housework. He thinks just providing is enough, and he doesn't lead her. He does all the things that he should be doing to keep her happy and committed. He is not the man that she fell in love with. To her, it's logical to say, I am not happy. This is not the man I married. This is not what I signed up for. Of course, I'm going to change my mind. Now, you can have two responses to this fact about her nature. You could be a lesser man and say, that's not fair. Why are women like this? They should hold to their bond. They should hold to what they say. And that man argues against human nature. He argues against what is. He's a weaker man. And then there's the man that says, that's just the way women are. And therefore I know if I change her mood, I know how to do so, I can change her mind. And that's what I plan to teach you in the rest of this video. Now that you know that she chooses her feelings first, right? And the model in which how your behaviors impact that. I want you to imagine that we started off with the root. We're gone into the middle, the trunk of the tree. Now we're gonna go to the branches. And then finally after this, we're gonna go into the actual fruit of the actual tactical behaviors. But you can't skip steps here, because if you don't understand how this all happens, you won't be able to connect it in real time. So let's go over 4 abundance mindset shifts you're gonna have, and then I'll give you tactical actual behaviors to connect to each of these mindsets, okay? The first is the idea of non-attachment, letting go, the attraction paradox, or just not giving a damn. I'll have a deeper dive on this concept at the end of this video as a video resource, so if you like this idea and you wanna learn more about it, it'll be there for you. Back when I was in college, I just recently at that housewarming party, you cannot make this up. I pledged for a fraternity, Sigma Chi, back in the day. And in my pledge class, there was a guy that I was really close with. And this is crazy. I'm sitting on the roof upstairs on the balcony, and up he walks to my house. And I haven't seen this guy in 12 years. Last time I knew, he was in Guam or Bali, across the world. We had no contact over the past 12 years. And here I see him walk up to my roof a few days ago. Okay, can't make this up. He didn't even know he was coming to my house. I'm sitting here looking at this guy who I pledged with, my fraternity. I'm just like, and I'm staring at him. I'm like, is this real? And I walk up to him and I'm like, hey. He's like, oh, what's up, dude? I'm like, don't act like this is normal. Like, what? It's just like he shows up to my... And the point of this whole story is that we were speaking with a group of people, and he said I changed so much because back in college, I was extremely shy, insecure, just didn't know how to talk to people. I isolated myself from the whole fraternity. I hated those fraternity years. I felt like I didn't fit in. And now I feel like I can walk anywhere, in any room, no matter where, no matter who it's with, and I can connect with people. And the main reason why that is there was a moment back in grad school when I was going through this. I was already exited the fraternity. We were in it lifelong, but I was exited the fraternity and I was kind of focusing on myself in grad school. I was getting my master's degree in therapy. And I was reading self-development books, like hundreds, every single day, walking to class. There was a moment where I said, you can create how people respond to you. That we all have this default blueprint in our head of how we expect people to treat us, whether through love, through respect, through attraction, through trust. And just, it clicked for me. And there was this guy in my fraternity who I didn't see in a couple of years because I was separating myself. And he kind of like a bully, like not physically, but just, kind of a dick, right? And I remember walking up to him. I knew exactly how I wanted him to treat me. And he comes up to me and he tries to treat me in the same way. Hey, what's up, Hudson? Like trying to be all dominant. And I'm just like, what's up, man? And he just went, hey, how's it going? And his whole demeanor shifted 180 degrees because of how I shifted. Because historically, I needed to get drunk in social situations to feel comfortable, to let go. I was always in my head. I was anxious. I was worried what other people thought of me. And when it comes to your wife, when you first met her, yeah, you cared about her, but her opinion of you, of your own self-worth, it didn't matter as much. If she said something to upset you or something about you, it wouldn't crush you. You might have laughed it off. And now, her opinion, her validation is everything to you. You're confused, you're lost, you'll do anything to get her back. And that's part of the issue. You need to stop caring so much about what she thinks about you. And when I say that, some people think, well, like, I don't care about her. No, there is a distinction between caring about her as a person, wanting what's best for her, loving her with all your heart, but her opinion of your worth, there's no say at all. Because if she's able to call things out on you and it affects you, there's something already there that you're supposed to be looking at. And this bleeds into the idea of letting go. And I'm gonna give you an amazing tactic and behavior in the last section on how to really lean into that I found over the years with thousands of clients has the biggest forward motion towards this ideal mindset of wanting her but not needing her. For the second mindset, in the scarcity mindset, you come from a place of control. The opposite of this is the idea of letting go, which I will show you more in depth the mindset behind this one later and the specific behavior you can show her to prove that you've let go completely and you're in the best attraction paradox mindset we talk about on our program. See, logically, we showed you all the three behaviors. I'm just gonna diagnose the issue. I'm gonna see what she complained about over the years. I'm gonna solve that. If we have communication issues, if that's the problem, let's go to a therapist. But you have to realize that when it's coming from scarcity, no amount of logic is gonna change how she feels, period. Now look, I'm not gonna go over every one, but I'm gonna read these out to you and I want you just to see the general pattern or the distinction between the two. Strategy versus flow state. Imagine you're playing a sport and you're in the moment. You're in the middle of the game. You're not gonna sit and try to plan and analyze the game while you're in it. But a lot of men, when they're with their wife, they're trying to analyze, right? They're trying to figure out what is the thing that I could say in my head, not be focusing my attention on my heart of how to change how she feels. They're putting themselves into the future all the time or into the past instead of being present with her. They are thinking linearly instead of non-linearly. They are thinking about the problems instead of just being in the moment with her. And this is why when I practice traditional therapy in that model, I realize the more we focus on the problems with the couples, the more problems arose. You see? And ultimately, between these two mindsets, you have to see that this side of things, it causes her to not be safe with you, where these allow for safety. Imagine letting go. She senses when you're trying to control her. When you're able to let go and give her that space that she's asking for, she feels safer. And it shifts her emotional tipping scale, which I'll show you in 1 second. When you're speaking from your heart instead of your head, she senses your authenticity. You're not afraid to tell her the truth inside of you, even if it hurts her, even if it causes conflict, because she only respects you when you are authentic with yourself. I listen to a lot of Alan Watts, if you haven't heard me talk about him already, biggest influence in my life. And Alan says in one of his books, or his speeches, by going to the doctor, you're admitting you're sick. By going to a therapist, you're admitting there's a problem. And logically you may say, but yeah, Josh, if I'm literally bleeding out and I go to, that's not what I mean. What I mean by this is that you are co-creating every relationship. So what this means is that when you are chasing after her, when you are following her, when you are supplicating to her, when you are falling into her frame, when you need her validation of you, when you follow, she's gonna lead. But a woman does not want to lead in the relationship. By default, she wants to follow. And therefore, if you simply flip the script and start leading again, doing things to show that you are a leader in the marriage, that you are leading, she will naturally follow. When you start to shift your behaviors from scarcity into abundance, the abundance mindset, you start shifting your scale. Now, this is the emotional tipping scale I developed. It's based on the idea by Dr. John Gottman, in that in our subconscious mind, not just with women, but with men too, with anyone, that we are holding certain stimulus and we are saying how much positive experiences or negative experiences has that stimulus given me. And with people, what he's found is that successful relationships, after studying thousands of couples, the ones that have successful relationships simply have more positive to negative emotional experiences. And over time, what has happened through the lack of connection with her and through all the little bickering and fighting, the scale has slowly shifted from the positive relationship ratio of 4 or 5 to 1, what it's supposed to be at, down into 1 to 1 to now it's a negative. If she's in stage 1 with you, we go over 5 stages in our program. If she's in stage 1, you are at most likely at least a 2 to 1 ratio, okay? At least. And the whole idea about bringing her back is just knowing what negative behaviors to stop doing, stop making it worse, and what positive behaviors to replace them with over time, and it'll shift the way she feels. And it is like a science. Over time, you repeat these, and she cannot help but to shift the way she feels from a 1-to-1 ratio, from a 2-to-1 ratio to a 1-to-1, to basically you're back into 5-to-1 ratio where she completely shifts her whole story about you. And this is what we've seen time and time again. Here's the thing that I found. If a woman is not following her husband, the man in her life, then she will follow other things. She will follow things on social media. She will follow her single friends. She will follow her therapists. She will follow other men. And what a lot of men fail to understand is that she didn't follow these things and now she's not following you. She stopped following you first. She stopped trusting you. You stopped making her feel safe. So simply to shift back how she feels again is just become a leader again. Now you can do this in a macro way or a micro way. Just like leadership, if you lead, she'll follow. The same principle applies here. The person who is less reactive in any relationship holds more power. Power is simply the ability to influence behavior. That's it. So your frame, we're not going to go into depth about frame. I'll do a whole video on that in the future. I talk about frame a lot on this channel. But your frame essentially is your beliefs, your perceptions, your principles, and your values as a man. It makes up who you are. And your frame is different than everyone else's frame. And a woman must know who you are in order to respect you. And the stronger your frame is, the more influence you have over her. And what we've seen over the years is a lot of men don't know their values. They don't know their perceptions. They don't know their principles. They change who they are to get her. They make her the sole object of who they are. They will adjust who they are for her. But it looks like this. This is their frame. And if a woman wants a strong man that she can feel safe inside, to lean up against, is this shape going to help? Especially if parts of you are just constantly moving and changing, it's just not going to work, right? So there are 3 ways I'm going to give you in which you can become more non-reactive. And then I'm going to give you a 4th one in the behavior section. But these are actual tactics right now in the mindset, okay? The first one is simply wanting less. Look, at the end of the day, do you even know what she gives you? What does your wife provide you with other than company, sex? I mean, she's a good mother, of course, and financially she supports you most likely. Yes, those are great things. But what is she actually giving you that you want? It's her validation. It's her love, right? It's her choosing you. And that's an amazing, I'm not downplaying that. That's an amazing thing to have, that a woman who truly knows you and gets you, and you get that like appreciation from her. It's love. But at the end of the day, if you realize that you could love yourself more and not need that from her, she's an added benefit to your life. You don't need it to breathe, because a lot of you, it's life and death right now, isn't it? It feels that way, that if you were to lose her, you'd lose everything. And a woman cannot be with a man that is in that position. That is the epitome of being so reactive. So the next time you're around her, when you're looking at her in the eyes, just tell yourself in your mind, I don't need anything from you. Feel this radiant energy pouring out of you, of this value, where if she were to leave tomorrow, you'll know you'll be okay. The second one's even more tactical for you, okay? Which is something that I should work on a little bit more, but I get so excited recording these videos for you. It's to slow down. Slow your speech, slow your movements, just slow down. For example, if I was in a room with you and we're having dinner together, we're having a beer or whatever, and then your wife walks in to the room and she says, hey, are you gonna turn over really fast and look at her? Okay. Or if you're talking with someone at an event or a family gathering, and she taps you on the shoulder, do you finish your sentence with that person and then slowly turn to her? Or mid-sentence, do you say, yeah? It's subtle. These forms of non-communication, they influence how she perceives you, how she feels about you. It's not disrespectful to take your time finishing a sentence with someone. It's not disrespectful if you're in the middle of work and she's calling you to finish what you're doing, to call her back. See what I mean? In the way you speak around her, how you hold eye contact, tone of your voice, these things all influence the way she feels massively. The third one is, which I will elaborate on, but it's knowing how to pass her tests. I'll have a huge video resource at the end of this video going over this. I'm just gonna quickly say why she tests you. She tests you because she wants you to pass them. She criticizes, she pushes on your boundaries, she complains, she does all the things you don't like because she wants you to be non-reactive. She wants to feel your strength. In order for her to feel your strength, that you are the man for her, she can only know that by testing you. In order for her to feel attracted to you, to feel safe with you, she has to press against. If this house comprises who you are, and it's crumbled so many times, and she felt unsafe living inside this house, when she comes back and wants to go step inside, she's gonna test the foundation, isn't she? She's gonna press against things. She's gonna make sure the paint's not falling off the wall. And you reacting to her, you crumble, fall down. So recognize that her tests are coming from a good place. Now, for being non-reactive, I already gave you some practical advice with the nonverbals and stuff like that, but other than that, you must know how to ground your nervous system. Hopefully you can tell that across this video, I've been pretty grounded. I speak relatively quick, for sure, but I feel relaxed, right? I'm calm. A lot of men, it's meditation, it's prayer. There's these cold plunges at the gym I go into. Then I do hot yoga at night. So like 30 degrees during the day, 110 degrees at night doing hot yoga. And for me, that helps regulate my nervous system. Now I've been doing this pretty consistently and I notice the changes. I speak deeper. I move slower. When I walk, my head's up. I'm unperturbed by things that are happening. A year ago, things that are happening right now in my life, a year ago I would have faltered. I would have been in my head all the time about it. But for you, you'd be surprised at how much of your faults and how much of your reacting in fear that has caused that scale to tip, that caused her to lose trust in you, is because you reacted. Something she said or something happened and you couldn't maintain composure. I can't emphasize how important that is. If I were to teach you, just give you one skill to master, it would be this: presence, control, non-reactive, all the same thing. Working out helps. We have a brilliant breathing exercise coach in our program. We're men every single week can do this. I meditate with my guys in the beginning of my group. Whatever it is for you, becoming more grounded in who you are. Mixed martial arts, yoga, it doesn't matter. Just find these practices to ground your nervous system, to be able to find your center, so that when she's yelling at you or she's jealous or she's angry or she's being apathetic or whatever she throws at you, it's nothing in comparison to what you face, what you choose to face. The fourth mindset is one that's pretty advanced. I'll leave another video at the end of this one. It's in regards to passing her tests that I'll talk about more, but it's about lightness, humor. Now, in our program, there is a man who is our top contributor. Okay, in our school program, in our group, in our online community, you can see who has the most points. We assign points to who contributes the most likes, comments, who gets the most likes and engagement on all their posts, and who posts the most. And this guy is like double the next three guys, okay? He is the most engaged guy, and he is a veteran in the program for years. And this man is actually, he's just a gem, and I look up to him a lot, and I'm very grateful that he's in our program. And I remember being on a group call one time that I was leading on a Friday, and he said something to a man where it's like when he talks, like you listen, right? And I'm just sitting back, and I go into his room, and I know I don't need to be there because he leads pretty well, but I wanted to hear what he had to say. And he's talking to this guy who just joined the program, and he goes, man, I hear you talking, I hear your problems, but listen to you. You're not happy. You're not happy. Like, I wouldn't want to be around you if I was your wife. He's like, when's the last time you were happy? And if you were happy, like if you came home and you were happy, you had a good day, despite how your wife feels, like who cares about that? You had a great day and you were good, she'll start to feel good too. Like, you make things so hard on yourself. Why can't you just like learn how to be happy again? Be light, have fun. She wants to enjoy you. She wants to have a good time. She wants to be happy. And a lot of men think, well, yeah, I'm not happy because of what's going on. Like, no, like you're putting the cart before the horse. Like, you can reverse that. If you find how to be happy, how to be light again, how to use humor. When's the last time you used humor? I'm sure there's some small things that just trigger you with her. You get so upset, these small little issues turn into a big blowout, and you want to blame it on her, like she's making it a big deal. Maybe she is. But as the man, here's another way to emotionally lead. You can take that small thing and you can make it light again. You cannot have it affect you so much. In fact, one of the ultimate ways to pass a test, and again, I'll show that at the end of the video resource for the how to pass tests, but one of the best ways to pass a woman's test is to use humor. Now, humor is specific to every relationship and every person, and it's contextual. Right? It's not something I can easily teach as a framework. It's an art form. But I guarantee when you first met her, you were using humor more often. You guys were laughing together. And a lot of men will think, I can't laugh because of how the marriage is, like it's falling apart. You can. You can have a stronger frame. Okay, you can find the lightness in things. The fruit of how to influence how she feels, specifically with letting go and achieving this attraction paradox. It's putting your purpose over, what's a P word to describe woman? Pleasure, okay? It's putting purpose over pleasure. It's putting purpose over her, all right? Let me read you a quote from David Data. Every man knows that his highest purpose in life cannot be reduced to any particular relationship. If a man prioritizes his relationship over his highest purpose, he weakens himself and disserves the universe and cheats his woman of an authentic man who can offer his full, undivided presence. At some point, you put her above your purpose. I don't know what your purpose is. For a lot of men, it is their work. But there is a reason why you're here on this planet. If you don't know what your purpose is, your soul mission should be able to figure that out. What is your purpose? And a lot of men will say, well, Josh, like that's actually part of the problem. I work too much, and she's complaining about that. She will always try to pull you off her purpose because she wants you to lean into it. It is not the fact that you work too much. It's that when you are home, you were not home. You were distracted. Because I guarantee you could work as much as you've been working, but when you're home, if you're present with her, you're engaged, she doesn't care that you work. I've spoken to a lot of women. She would rather have 1 hour of your undivided presence than 5, 6, 7 hours of scattered attention. You must understand this. Find your purpose again and reassert yourself into it as your highest priority, not her. When it comes to leadership, there's so many things you can do on the micro level. Just take more action, become a leader more. Say, I am a leader, and start to become that thing. I don't need to teach you too much leadership, but first let me show you from this Teal Swan quote on positive dominance.
The positive ownership is, this is now mine. In that, your best interests are now inseparable from my best interests. Now I have to understand how you think and feel and what you want and what you don't want. I have to find some way to make your life feel good.
Positive dominance is just the idea that, how do I say this without being too controversial? Women want to be swept off their feet. If you truly knew how dominant she wanted you to be, and when I say positive dominance, there is controlling dominance with a lot of aggression and control and fear, right? Then there's positive dominance, which is like, I know I'm the best man for you. I'm gonna sweep you off your feet. I'm gonna rise to this challenge. I'm gonna be the man to win you back. I fell short, but I'm gonna make it happen. Right? It's having confidence. It's having certainty that you are the best man. There's no other way to put it. When you adopt that leadership mentality, when you adopt that you are the best man for her, and you know how to remove all the shame that's getting in the way of that, she senses that, like that is the man she needs in her life. So yes, if you want actual behaviors to shift that scale, for sure, start making daily decisions. But on the macro level, adopt that identity. The best way to change how you see yourself is to take actions in accordance with that new identity. And I know for a fact the best behavior you can take right now to step into that role is to set up a call with our team down below. Is to say, I'm gonna take leadership over what's been happening, why I've been falling short, what are the actual behaviors and blind spots and limiting beliefs that have been holding me back from stepping into that man. Once you discover that, you'll be surprised at how just automatic everything else comes. So if you want to set up that call, click the link down below. It's a free call, but make sure you're fully committed when you fill out the application, because we only take calls with men who are fully invested and ready to make a change. Now, I talked about passing your test. This is the final behavior. Again, there's a whole video resource at the end of this one. I talk about humor there, how to use that, but I'll give you a quick example. One of the practical ways to pass your test is the agree and amplify framework. And it's pretty straightforward because it's in the name. You see, everything inside of you, when she makes a claim about you as a person or something you've done wrong, you want to defend. Because your logical brain, your ego says, if I agree that this thing is less, that I'm less of this thing, then if I agree with that and I'm less than, I feel less than, I'm less valuable, and your ego is telling you this story that if I agree with her claim, then I lose, that she has more value over me and she's gonna leave me. That is the logic that your brain is subconsciously playing out, or maybe you're conscious of it. Here's the thing, the opposite tends to be true. Again, let me give you an extreme example to prove the point. Let's say you made a mess in the kitchen, and you not cleaning up your mess in the kitchen or around the house for years has been a massive issue. And then you make breakfast and you're late for work, so you can't clean up, but you think, I'm gonna come home for lunch, I'll be able to do it. But she comes home before you for lunch and she sees the mess and she blows up, right? She blows up on you. I'm sick and tired of you doing this. I always clean up your mess. Okay, she's blowing up. Now, if you did the grounding exercise, you would find calm first, okay? If you can ground yourself. But most men in that situation, what would they do? I would have cleaned it up. I was gonna clean it up. I didn't think you'd come home. I cleaned so much around the house. I've been better at it. You want to defend yourself. But in that moment, you just have to recognize that she feels the way she feels, and that's okay. So agreeing and amplify would look like this. I know, I'm a pig. I'm gonna clean it up right now. I need to get better at it. I'm sorry. That response to a lot of guys, that response right there, they would feel like, oh, but I'm like, disrespecting. It's not about disrespect, right? It's just simply behavior you have. She's not disrespecting you if she's calling out a behavior. If she attacks your personal character, that's disrespect. But so many men get so sensitive when she simply calls out your behavior. And let's be honest, like she's pointing out to something that is true in you. And so when you agree and amplify, she realizes, oh, okay, this isn't a big deal as I'm making it myself. He's calm about it. And he realizes he's taking ownership over it and he's gonna do something about it. And that's the way to respond to tests, one of the ways. Now, before I end this video, I just wanna give you a bonus going back to her female nature, because a lot of guys get stuck on this. Here's the idea. Her choosing her feelings and you getting mad about it is like getting mad at the wind for blowing. It really is. And as easy as she changes her mind in the negative, where she wants a divorce or she says I'm leaving or whatever it is, it's just as simple to change her back into the positive, to shift her mind back into loving you again by just changing her behavior. It's really that simple, okay? Now the video on tests and non-attachment, letting go are right here. Again, you can set up a call with our team down below if you need additional support. Just make sure you're committed to making a change and we will support you. I'll see you in the next video.